love miniature things. And when I was little, I would collect little used things from the recycling bin, and I would make little miniature furniture. And today I'm going to show you a craft. I'm going to show you how to make a miniature dresser. Isn't that cool? So I want to talk to you just before we begin and before I show you what you need. I want to talk to you about what a craft is versus what art is, because there's a lot of confusion, and honestly, it's up for discussion, but I'm going to tell you my viewpoint. So a piece of artwork is something inspired by emotions, vision, or concept. And an excellent piece of artwork should show an understanding of the elements of art. A craft is, in my opinion, and I think people will argue with me, a craft is something that you make by following a specific instruction to have a certain product at the end. But I think a lot of people could say that a craft is also something that people made out of necessity for their home, like quilts or brooms or things that were built. So if you have your opinion on what a craft is versus an art, you can tell me in the comments below. And I think it's a good discussion. I think that craft can turn into art, and I think that art can become craft. But this is a fun craft that I really like. But I will tell you, when you're all done with watching how to make this cute little dresser, I will tell you how to make it, in my opinion, a jumping off point to create some art. To make your miniature dresser, you will need 3 empty matchboxes. Do not empty the matchboxes, just you have to be patient and wait till your parents are done. And if you don't have them, ask your parents to buy matchboxes at the store and then wait until they are empty. You need a straight edge. I'm just using a piece of cardboard. You can use a ruler, scissor, a rubber band. I have 2, just I'm not sure what size I need, and some kind of adhesive. I'm using glue. You could also use tape. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is make sure that we know, open these matchboxes up, because we want to make sure they're all facing the correct direction, which is up, like a drawer. It would be very sad if we went to all the trouble of gluing these together and making the whole project and some of the drawers are upside down. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your finger and just spread glue. When you're gluing three-dimensional objects, especially to each other, and heavy things like cardboard, you want to be liberal with the glue, but you don't want to be messy. So you do a nice thin layer everywhere. And you only need glue on 2 of the matchboxes. And just spread it to the edge. I know some people don't like sticking their fingers in glue, but you can always scrape it off nicely. And then just, if you have a scrap piece of paper, oh, another thing I forgot to tell you that you need is something to wrap the dresser in. I'm going to use a part of a magazine. You could use wrapping paper or brown paper from a grocery bag, construction paper, anything, newspaper. All right, so I'm going to put this matchbox on top, making sure the drawers are up. And then I'm going to push the drawers in, and I'm going to line them up on all the sides. And I'm going to put my rubber bands on them. Actually, come to think of it, 2 rubber bands is probably good because you want this side to be even, like that. And you want the other side to be even. So I want to make sure it's all lined up properly. Don't want it too tight. This is almost too tight because it's pulling in there. I think it'll be okay. It's a little sticky, so I'm going to put it on top of my magazine so it doesn't get my table sticky. And I'm just going to let it sit there, and I will come back when it is dry. So I've waited about 15 minutes. I'm going to see if they are glued nicely. Take off my rubber band. Yeah, great. 15 minutes. You can put your timers on. Unfortunately, I probably should have wiped off these drawers because it looks like they are stuck. So, but I wiggled it enough. Now we got that one open. Let's see. Oop, yes. Okay, good. So wiggle your drawers open a little bit. Make sure they're good, and then push them back in. So this is the base. It's a little wiggly, but I think we're good to go. So I am going to pick a paper that I like, that I want to wrap around this part of the dresser. And I really like this right here. To keep your straight edge stable, make an L shape with your pointer and your thumb, then draw your line. Always remember that every part of your work is important, and you really need to slow down when you're cutting to be neat. I'm going to use that magazine again to protect my table from the glue. So I'm going to put the glue, that's pretty cute, isn't it? I'm going to put the glue on this side, but first I want to measure it. I want there to be a little overlap. So I'm going to measure, and then if I wanted this yak on there, I would make sure that's the end. And you know what? I do want that yak on there. So I am going to make sure the yak is on the top of my dresser. And then I'm going to measure about halfway there. I like to just make a fold. And if it's not quite straight, just put the crooked end. Well, I could make it straight, but put the crooked end underneath. No one will see. Okay, so now I have this piece. I want to make sure that the buffaloes or the yak side goes on the top. But the first thing I'm going to do is glue. And the way to glue neatly, remember you're making a sticker base essentially. You want it to lay flat, and the only way to do that is to make sure that there is glue all the way to the edges. You only need a thin layer of glue. Now my paper is so thin it's starting to pucker up, but it's very delicate paper, but that's okay. I just want to make sure I get it all the way to the end. And now I know that this buffalo is right about there. I want to line it up, and then I'm going to carefully wrap this around. And I'm going to slide it while it's still wet. I'm just going to slide it to make sure it's matching up. So I'm going to gently press this down. So far, so good. Now comes the tricky part, and that is I want to cover each drawer up. All you need to do is to find a paper that you like and trace the rectangle shape at the end of each drawer where you want to cover it up. You can see I'm doing that right now. I decided to trace the 3 drawers right in a row so that when you look at the dresser, you see one completed picture. But you can really do it any way you like. Once I have all my little rectangles cut out, I just stack them and see if they're the same size. And if they're not, I give them a little bit of a trim. You should be experts now at spreading a thin layer of glue. And you would think I was too, but guess what? I ripped my very first piece. But you know what? You're always going to encounter problems, and you can always find a solution. And to be honest, nothing's perfect, but you don't even notice that I ripped that piece. So there will always be times when things don't go right. But remember, you can find a solution. If I was going to expand this, I would add knobs onto each drawer to make it look more realistic, like a little miniature dresser. And I bet you can think of some creative ways to do that. Now you might have to wait to save up matchboxes to make this project, but you don't have to wait to be creative. Look in your recycling bin and see what you can make there, what little miniature thing you can make. Now, I think that if you go into your recycling bin and you're not following anybody's direction, you just have a vision for what you want to make, that's art, because you are not following specific directions to have the same exact thing that you saw here. This, I believe, is a craft. And if you do that, take a picture of it and post it in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, click the bell, click the like, the thumbs up, and I'll see you later. I just couldn't stop. I added little tiny knobs to my dresser. So cute. I sewed it on. I sewed that. You might need a little help from parents with that. And I'm going to give this dresser away. All you have to do is answer the giveaway question found in this video. You kind of have to be a detective to find it, and subscribe by July 17th. And then I'm going to randomly draw your name out and I will mail it to you. We got my cute dresser. Made it with my yak on top. All right, closing it up. Don't forget to answer the giveaway question in the comments below and subscribe, and it will enter you automatically into the miniature Matchbox dresser drawing. And I will post whoever won it on July 20th. That makes sense. All right. Happy crafting.